Welcome back. Today, we're going to learn about a story called Marita's Bargain. This story reveals an interesting truth about success in school. It asks an important question. What does it take for a student to succeed even when life is challenging? First, let's travel to the South Bronx in New York City. This area is known for having many challenges, including poverty. Because of these difficulties, many people might expect students there to struggle in school. But in the middle of this neighborhood is a public middle school called KIPP Academy. This school is doing something amazing. Many of its students come from difficult backgrounds, yet they become some of the strongest math students in New York City. So the big question is, how is KIPP Academy helping these students achieve such great success? What makes KIPP Academy so amazing is that it doesn't only accept the best students. Students are chosen through a lottery and there are no entrance exams. About 90% of the students come from low-income families and qualify for free or reduced price lunch. Even with these challenges, by 8th grade, 84% of KIPP students are performing at or above their grade level in math. That's about the same level as students in some of the wealthiest neighborhoods. So, what is KIPP Academy doing differently to help its students succeed? The first clue to solving this mystery isn't found in a textbook or a new way of teaching. Instead, it comes from an unexpected place: the history of summer vacation in the United States. To understand KIPP Academy's success, we first need to look at how the long summer break became a part of the school year. Believe it or not, this story goes all the way back to the 1800s. At that time, people were working to create a more organized school system across the country. Many educators believed that students should not spend too much time studying. They worried that too much schoolwork could make children tired and stressed. Because of this, their goal was not to fit in as much learning as possible, but to make sure students had enough time to rest and avoid burnout. People at that time took this idea very seriously. In fact, in an 1871 report, a researcher named Edward Jarvis studied thousands of cases of mental illness and argued that too much studying was one of the causes. Because of beliefs like this, schools began making changes. The school day became shorter, Saturday classes were removed, and eventually the long summer vacation became a regular part of the school year. This belief shaped the American school system. People thought a student's mind was like a farm field. It needed time to rest to avoid becoming exhausted. But in some cultures, hard work and constant practice were seen as the key to success. This shows that the long summer break wasn't created because it was the best way to learn. It became part of the school system because of historical beliefs and traditions. You might be wondering, what does all of this have to do with KIPP Academy? This is where the pieces come together. Research shows that a major part of the achievement gap comes from what happens outside the regular school year. Take a look at this chart. It shows reading scores for students from low, middle, and high-income families. In first grade, there is already a gap between the highest and lowest income students, but it's not very large. By fifth grade, however, that gap has grown dramatically, more than twice as big as it was before. At first, it seems obvious to blame the schools. If the achievement gap keeps growing during the school years, then schools must be the problem, right? But what if that's not actually the case? Here's the surprising part. Researchers looked at learning during the school year and during summer vacation separately. What they found was unexpected. Students from low-income families actually learned slightly more than students from high-income families during the school year. This suggests that schools are not the main cause of the achievement gap. In fact, school is helping students make progress. This leads to an important question. If students learn at nearly the same rate during the school year, where does the achievement gap come from? The answer becomes clear when we look at what happens during summer vacation. This is the key discovery. Over 5 summers, students from low-income families make very little progress in reading. At the same time, students from higher-income families often have more learning opportunities, such as reading books, visiting museums, or attending summer programs. As a result, their reading skills improve much more. The research suggests that much of the achievement gap grows during summer vacation, not during the school year. Once you understand that the achievement gap grows during the summer, the solution seems simple. Give students more time to learn. That's exactly what KIPP Academy does. The school reduces the long summer break and gives students more learning time throughout the year. And this isn't a radical idea. Students in the United States attend school for about 180 days each year. In comparison, students in countries like South Korea and Japan spend more days in school. This suggests that there is room to give students more learning time if needed. KIPP doesn't just add a little extra learning time, it adds a lot. Students start school at 7:25 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. They also attend classes on Saturdays and spend extra weeks in school during the summer. Altogether, KIPP students spend about 50-60% more time learning than students in a typical public school. By giving students more time to learn, KIPP helps them continue making progress throughout the year. But numbers and schedules only tell part of the story. To understand what this extra learning time really means, let's look at the experience of a real student. Meet Marita, a 1-2-year-old student at KIPP Academy. Marita's schedule shows just how much commitment KIPP students make. She wakes up at 5:45 inches the morning, spends the day at school, and doesn't get home until around 5:30 inches the evening. After that, she still has several hours of homework before going to bed. It's a long and demanding day, especially for a 1-2-year-old. That is the bargain Marita makes in exchange for greater opportunities to succeed. But Marita's busy schedule came with sacrifices. She explained that she slowly grew apart from friends at her old school because their daily lives were so different. While her friends had more free time after school, Marita spent hours studying and doing homework. Over time, those friendships became harder to maintain. For Marita, the bargain meant giving up some parts of her old life in order to focus on new opportunities at KIPP. That's a big sacrifice for a young student. Marita gives up a lot of free time and works harder than most kids her age. But the purpose of this bargain is to create better opportunities for her future. So the important question is it worth it? What does Marita gain in return for all of her hard work? The results can be life-changing. KIPP students reach high academic levels, which helps many of them earn scholarships to attend stronger high schools. From there, more than 80% go on to college, and many are the first in their families to do so. For these students, the hard work pays off by opening doors to opportunities that might not have been available otherwise. This connects to one of the main ideas in Outliers. Success is not just about natural talent. It also depends on opportunities and the hard work needed to make the most of them. The Beatles had years of practice in Hamburg. Bill Gates had early access to computers. In the same way, Marita had the opportunity to attend KIPP Academy. Her success came from both the opportunity she was given and the effort she put into using it. Marita's story shows that talent can be found everywhere, but opportunities are not always equal. She didn't need extraordinary natural ability. She needed the chance to learn, work hard, and keep making progress throughout the year. That is the main message of Time's Outliers. Success comes from both opportunity and effort. Her story also leaves us with an important question. If one school can create these opportunities for a few hundred students, what could happen if every student had access to the same chance to succeed? Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed the story. We are going to wrap up the book now with an epilogue, so see you there.
If you'd like more personalized feedback, writing support, and discussion sessions, they're available with me or with our selected tutors. All the details are here.